Good evening, everyone. I have been a Toastmaster for over 7 years now, so you'd think that I would know a thing or two about communication. You would be surprised, though. In this project, in my visionary communications pathway, I was asked to reflect on my communication style. And today, I'm going to share with you what it means to reflect on one's communication style and what we can learn by reflecting on our style of communication, even as advanced Toastmasters. So I'd like everyone to think about how we communicate. Communication is one of the things that I believe makes us human. The complicated verbal and nonverbal communication that we have developed through human language, the use of emojis, body language, and tone of voice are very complex, just as complex as the individual person who communicates with another individual. Every day, even though we may feel isolated during the pandemic, think about it. We communicate perhaps with our family members and people who share our home. We may communicate digitally through text messages and emails with friends and colleagues. And we also communicate digitally in other ways, like making social media posts or perhaps using images to tell our story. If you think about it, everybody has a different style of communication depending on who they are with and what the social or professional situation is. So in this speech I'm going to give today, we're going to look at how aware I am of my different communication styles depending on who and what I am doing. I got inspired to do this by the Toastmasters project. And I would say that I do a lot of communication, and I was already somewhat aware that my communication style was quite different depending on what situation I'm in. When I'm with friends, I think of myself as being a little more boisterous and open and loud and happy to talk about anything and everything. And in professional situations, I tend to be a little more reserved, a little more to the point, and not just chatting on all the time. I think probably most people feel this way about their social and professional selves, but I haven't really reflected so much on a communication style. If you had asked me a while ago, I would have said friendly, open-minded, curious, but are those really even proper definitions? That's where the great zodiac oracle horoscope of Toastmasters comes into the picture. In order to give you this fascinating speech, I was asked to do a multiple choice quiz of how I communicate in different professional situations. It was like going to an oracle and asking, what is my horoscope based on the time I was born? What can it tell me about myself? So I sort of see it as like Toastmasters astrology in a way, but let's find out how accurate it is to what I think of myself. In the results of my quiz, I got equal scores in the direct, the initiating, the supportive, and the analytical style of communication. I think we all have preconceived ideas of what these adjectives mean in normal speech, but what do they mean in regards to communication styles? Let's begin with the first one I scored on, the direct style. According to the definition of a direct communication style, a person who communicates in this way is decisive, independent, confident, and strong-willed. A direct communicator is very results-oriented in the way that they connect verbally and in writing with other people. Some negative aspects of this style is that they can be a bit controlling, wanting everything to run the way they want it to run, and also becoming frustrated and impatient by slow progress. Overall, this direct style values results over relationships. I can relate to the direct style because the direct style is the communication style that I have to use in challenging situations in both work and social life. When things at work are stressful, when things are very complicated, I like to switch into this direct style to get the point across to my supervisor or to my students that you need to pay attention and we need to fix this problem as soon as possible because it's important. Same thing in my family life and social life. If something's really amiss, I have to go in there and help get it fixed. So I don't use this style all the time, but I use it like the hidden sword I keep in a sheath by my side. I get transmogrified into a much tougher, meaner person when necessary. And then there's the initiating style. This is the side I'm sure many Toastmasters know about Katia, and that's to be social, energetic, spontaneous, and full of jollity. An initiating style is one that puts relationships over results. The initiating style can be a little abrasive in that the person can seem impulsive and likes to run their mouth more than listening to other people. And also, an initiating style loves a friendly environment. I would say I'm like this in a lot of my social relationships and just enjoying the company of other people, exchanging ideas, and feeling very energized by connecting with like-minded folks. There's also the supportive style of communication. And I find that the supportive style of me comes out when I'm with my family and people I feel very emotionally connected to. This is a communication style that is calm, steady, approachable, and trustworthy. It is results orientated, but also values the relationships. A downside of being so supportive in communication is you can come across as too conservative, not open to change, and indecisive because you don't want to rock the boat. This is favored in a personal, low tension environment. And for me, it's very much how I am towards my parents and loved ones. Of course, being a scientist, the analytical style of communication is the one that I use at work the most. This is precise, logical, and systematic, as well as very results orientated in what I say and write. The downsides of it is that one can come across as being a perfectionist, very guarded and reserved because they don't want to talk about personal things. And this thrives best in a structured, orderly, functional environment, just like my workplace. So what do I think of all of these communication styles? I would say that it's a little like a horoscope. Any style of communication can be relatable to anyone in different situations. I would say that I also found the limitations of the quiz is that the questions were somewhat simplistic and only targeted more towards professional rather than social situations. However, despite the limitations of the quiz, I would suggest to any Toastmasters to try it out and find out what they discover about their communication style. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time.